Wire is brought to you by Resora. Elevate your real estate marketing with Resora. Effortlessly design, manage, and automate stunning email and social campaigns with our intuitive platform built for real estate. Say goodbye to complex marketing. Get started with your free account today at Resora.com. And by Notebook LM by Google. Unlock the power of your information with Notebook LM. Upload your documents and instantly access an expert AI that answers your questions, summarizes key points, and generates insights, all based on your specific sources. Become a knowledge master with Notebook LM. Try it now at notebooklm.google.
All right, ready to dive into some of the biggest real estate news from last week?
Absolutely. It should be a fascinating mix. Online listings, legal battles, even some feel-good community projects.
Definitely a lot to unpack, and it really highlights just how dynamic the industry is these days.
Yeah, no kidding. Agents who stay ahead of the curve, those are the ones who are going to have that serious edge.
Speaking of staying ahead, that Rise Media piece about online listing red flags, that one really got me thinking.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. It's amazing, how many sellers, even some agents, are still making those rookie mistakes.
Yeah, especially when you consider practically every buyer starts their search online.
Right. You got to think of that listing as your digital storefront. If you've got typos, missing photos, or worse, those super fake-looking photos.
You're basically, slamming the door in the buyer's face before they even step inside.
Exactly. And it's not just, about making things look pretty. The article, it highlighted how those little details, they can really impact a buyer's trust.
Oh, totally. Imagine you see a listing and there's this glaring typo.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to trust that agent to, handle a whole house purchase?
Probably not. Attention to detail, it's crucial. It's like showing up to a listing presentation in wrinkled clothes just sends the wrong message.
Ugh, yeah, I can see that. And speaking of sending the wrong message, that article, it also mentioned being upfront about renovations.
Oh, right. Instead of just throwing around words like updated kitchen, agents should be specific. What exactly was done and when?
Yeah, do they just slap on some new paint? Or do they completely gut it and put in top of the line appliances?
Exactly. Transparency is key. Especially for those millennial buyers, they can spot a fake a mile away.
For sure. The article even gave a great example. Instead of updated kitchen, say something like, this amazing 3-bedroom ranch has a stunning kitchen, updated in 2022 with granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and soft close cabinets.
It's night and day, right? You're painting a picture, building trust, not just tossing out buzzwords.
Totally. That level of detail, it should be standard for all listings, not just the ones targeting millennials.
Agreed. It just shows a level of professionalism that any buyer would appreciate.
Now, shifting gears a bit, there's been a ton of talk about the MLS lately, with everything changing in the industry.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it seems like the California Regional MLS, CRMLS, they're taking a pretty proactive approach with their CRMLS 2025 Value Redefined campaign.
It's interesting, right? It feels like a direct response to all the disruptions we've been seeing, like those commission lawsuits, for instance.
Totally. It's like they're saying, okay, things are shifting, but here's how we can adapt and actually thrive.
Yeah.
They're focusing on 4 main things: focused transparency, broker-first philosophy, user-oriented mindset, and then proactive vision.
Okay, let's break those down a bit. What exactly does focused transparency mean in the real world?
Well, it's about making sure that all the info in the MLS, it's clear, it's accurate, and easy to get to for both agents and consumers, of course.
Makes sense. So no hidden fees, no misleading data, just straight up honesty.
Exactly. And they're even looking into new tech and tools that can, boost that transparency and data accuracy even more.
That's great. Now, the broker-first philosophy, I'm curious about that. Does that mean they're putting brokerages ahead of individual agents?
Not really. It's more about recognizing that brokerages, they play a crucial role, in supporting and guiding their agents.
Okay, so it's more collaborative than competitive.
Yeah, exactly. CRMLS is committed to providing those resources brokerages need, especially with all the legal changes, new tech, all of that, and then helping them train and support their agents.
So it's like empowering brokerages to then empower their agents.
Right. It's a smart approach, really.
What about the user-oriented mindset? What's that all about?
That one's all about making the MLS as easy to use as possible. Think streamlined, mobile-friendly, and with readily available support.
Gotcha. So agents can find what they need quickly and easily without jumping through hoops or waiting on hold forever.
Exactly. They want to make the MLS an asset, not an obstacle.
Love that. And finally, what does proactive vision entail?
That's all about anticipating what the industry will need down the line. And then, taking steps to prepare for it.
So like being forward-thinking in how they develop the MLS.
Exactly. Analyzing trends, getting feedback from agents and brokers, and investing in those technologies that'll keep the MLS relevant, in the years to come.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're not just reacting to change, we're shaping the future.
Yep, exactly. And that proactive approach, it's going to be super important, especially as we see things like AI and virtual reality starting to, impact the industry.
CRMLS sounds like they want to be leading the charge.
Sure. Which is great for agents, the ones who rely on the MLS to do their jobs well. Speaking of challenges, though, there's that new lawsuit against NAR that we should talk about.
Oh, yeah. That one's a bit more serious, isn't it?
It is. The lawsuit, it was filed in Louisiana, and it claims that basically NAR's membership structure, it's anti-competitive, and that it hurts consumers.
So essentially they're saying NAR is acting like a monopoly.
That's the gist, yeah. The lawsuit says that their policies, especially those about MLS access and commissions, they limit competition and end up hurting buyers and sellers.
And what about the agents themselves?
Yeah.
The lawsuit mentioned something about emotional distress caused by those commission lawsuits and the settlement.
Yeah, that's right. The plaintiffs are arguing that NAR didn't handle those situations very well, transparently. And that led to a lot of confusion and anxiety among their members.
So not just antitrust issues, but also about how NAR treats its own members.
Right. And it's adding fuel to that whole debate about whether MLSs should be independent of NAR. Some people argue that that would, create more competition and lead to more innovation, which could be good for everyone.
It definitely feels like this whole thing could have a huge impact on the industry as a whole. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
For sure. It's a reminder that even those big institutions like NAR, they're not immune to scrutiny, especially in a market that's changing so fast.
Speaking of changing markets, Jason Mitchell had some great advice about communicating a long-term vision for teams. Seems particularly relevant right now.
Yeah, absolutely. With so much uncertainty, teams really need to have a clear understanding of where they're headed. Otherwise, it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day chaos.
And Mitchell, he really stressed the importance of alignment between sales and operations. How does that actually work in practice?
Well, it means making sure everyone on the team, from the agents closing deals to the staff handling paperwork, is working together towards the same goals.
So it's not just about individual performance, but about that collective effort.
Right. It's about everyone rowing in the same direction. And Mitchell, he's big on that top-down messaging. Leaders at all levels, they need to be constantly communicating the goals and expectations.
So everyone's on the same page, even when things get crazy busy.
Exactly. It's like having a roadmap that everyone can follow. Mitchell also had an interesting point about, prioritizing projects and goals, but being flexible enough to reprioritize those daily tasks as needed.
Because in real estate, things change so fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
New listings pop up, clients have urgent needs, unexpected issues come up.
All the time. It's impossible to stick to a rigid schedule. But that doesn't mean you just abandon your long-term goals.
So it's about finding that balance, staying focused on the big picture while being adaptable enough to handle the unexpected.
Exactly. And sometimes those little daily tasks, they need to take a back seat to those more strategic initiatives.
It's like that saying, don't mistake activity for achievement. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're actually moving forward.
Right. And at the end of the day, all that effort, the sales calls, the paperwork, it's all about generating revenue. Everything else should support that objective.
It's a good reminder that while building relationships and providing great service is important, we can't forget about the bottom line.
Exactly.
Right.
And that brings us to another important topic, community engagement. We often talk about agents providing value to their clients, but there's this growing movement toward agents making a positive impact on their communities as a whole.
Right. It's not just about transactions. It's about being a part of the community. And we have a perfect example of that with the Long Island Board of Realtors, or LIBOR, and how they use those NAR placemaking grants.
This story is really inspiring. It shows how agents can use their skills and resources to make a real difference in their neighborhoods. I actually did 2 projects with those grants.
I'm curious to hear about them. What exactly did they do?
Well, first, they turned some unused parking spaces in Long Island City into what they call a street seat.
A street seat? What's that?
It's basically a little public space carved out of the urban environment. They added benches, plants, even some shade structures. Just a nice spot for people to relax and connect.
I love that. Such a simple idea, but it can really change the feel of a whole neighborhood.
Exactly. Shows how you can take an underutilized space and turn it into something that brings people together.
Did they do anything else?
Oh, yeah. They also used a grant to create the Wyandanch Senior Center Community Garden.
Community gardens are so important, especially for seniors who might not have easy access to fresh produce.
And this one is even more special because the produce goes to the senior center and a local soup kitchen.
That's incredible. So they're tackling food insecurity, promoting healthy eating, and building community all at the same time.
Exactly. It really shows how realtors can go beyond just buying and selling and make a positive impact.
It's about redefining what it means to be an agent, not just facilitating transactions, but actively shaping the communities where you work.
And in doing so, they're building stronger relationships with clients and enhancing their own value. It's a win-win for everyone. It really shows how everything's connected in real estate. You've got these big legal battles and tech advancements happening on a national level. And then those same trends, they're playing out in our neighborhoods, impacting how agents do everything, from marketing listings to how they interact with their community.
It's like this ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
It makes you realize that real estate isn't just about the properties themselves. It's about shaping the communities where we live and work and raise our families.
Exactly. And speaking of shaping communities, that Inman article about NAR's placemaking initiatives, that had some really interesting points. Talked about how those placemaking grants can be used to fund projects that actually improve quality of life in neighborhoods.
It's great that NAR is putting resources behind that. It shows that they recognize that realtors really understand their communities and can be a big part of revitalizing and developing those areas.
Absolutely. And the article had a couple of examples, really inspiring ones. Like there was this project in Denver where a placemaking grant was used to create, get this, a pop-up dog park in a vacant lot.
A pop-up dog park. That's such a cool idea. It's not just a great amenity for dog owners, but it also takes a space that wasn't being used and turns it into something that brings people together.
Exactly. Small changes, big impact. And it's something agents can do even without a grant, Sponsor a community cleanup day or organize a block party. It's a great way to show you're invested.
It's about going beyond the transaction and becoming a real partner in the community. I think that's what a lot of clients are looking for these days, an agent who understands their needs and wants to make their neighborhood a better place.
Totally agree. It builds trust. It shows you're not just in it for the commission, but that you actually care about the community.
Now, switching gears for a minute, I wanted to talk about that housing wire piece on agent safety. It's something we don't always talk about, but it's so important, especially with agents working independently and meeting clients in all kinds of places.
It's a good reminder that this job can be risky. We're dealing with big money, emotional people, sometimes unpredictable situations. The article had some good tips like meeting clients in public places, sharing your schedule, and trusting your gut feeling.
All good advice. And I think brokerages should have clear safety guidelines in place and provide training for their agents. It's not just about preventing physical harm, it's about creating that culture of awareness.
Exactly. And technology can play a big part too. There are apps that let agents share their locations, send for help if they need it, even record their interactions with clients.
It's good to see technology being used that way, to give agents more peace of mind. Okay, let's talk about another tech topic. Artificial intelligence, or AI. That real estate technology news article, it talked about how AI is being used for all sorts of things, like automating tasks, personalizing marketing, even predicting market trends.
AI is definitely changing the game. And while some agents might be a little hesitant, I think it's important to see it as a tool, something that can help us do our jobs better and free up time for the things AI can't do.
Like building relationships, advising clients, negotiating those deals.
For the human stuff.
Exactly. The article had some interesting examples of how agents are already using AI. Some are using AI chatbots to answer those routine client questions. Others are using AI to analyze data and target their marketing more effectively.
Sounds like AI could be a huge advantage for agents who embrace it. But it's still early days, right? There are ethical questions, data privacy issues, potential biases, all that. Definitely. Like with any new tech, we need to be careful and aware of the limitations. But I think AI has the potential to really revolutionize real estate. The agents who adapt and use it to their advantage will be the ones who succeed.
Speaking of success, that National Mortgage News article had some interesting data about the current housing market. It said that while inventory is still low in a lot of places, we're starting to see prices slow down a bit.
That's good news for buyers who have been priced out of market recently. It could mean we're heading toward a more balanced market, which benefits everyone in the long run.
And it's a good reminder that real estate is cyclical, right? Periods of fast growth followed by corrections or slowdowns. Agents need to understand those cycles so they can advise their clients.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that real estate is local. What's happening in one market might be totally different from another. Agents need to know their local market inside and out.
So staying informed, adapting to change, using technology effectively, those are all important. But there's one more thing I wanted to touch on, self-care. That Eyes Media article about agent burnout, it really resonated with me. This job can be so demanding, it's easy to forget to take care of yourself.
It's true. We're always on, juggling clients, deadlines, complex deals. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and burnout.
The article talked about setting boundaries, making time for self-care, asking for help when you need it. It even suggested scheduling mental health days, just like you would schedule vacation.
I love that idea. We need to normalize taking breaks, recharging, and coming back to work feeling refreshed.
Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't take care of our clients.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that success in real estate isn't just about the money. It's about building a career that lets you thrive, both personally and professionally.
Now, before we move on, I wanted to circle back to something we talked about earlier, technology. Specifically, virtual tours and online showings. What are your thoughts on that trend?
It definitely took off during the pandemic, and I think it's here to stay. Virtual tours are great for buyers who can't see a property in person, especially those who live far away or have busy schedules.
And they can be a great way for agents to showcase properties in a more engaging way.
Absolutely. There are some really impressive virtual tour platforms out there now. Buyers can walk through a property virtually, zoom in on details, even measure rooms. It's almost like being there.
Almost.
Yeah.
But you can't smell those fresh-baked cookies through a screen, right?
Oh, true. There's still something special about seeing a property in person, but I think virtual tours will always have a place, even as in-person showings come back.
They're a great tool to make the whole process more convenient and efficient.
Exactly. It's another example of how technology is changing real estate and creating new opportunities for agents who are willing to adapt.
It's exciting to think about the future of real estate, but it can be a little overwhelming too, with all the changes happening so fast.
It definitely can be, but I think the key is to stay curious, keep learning, and surround yourself with people who support you.
And remember that, at the end of the day, real estate is about people. Helping them find their dream home, build their future, create memories.
Beautifully said. That's a mission worth pursuing, no matter what challenges or changes come our way.
It really is. And, it reminds us that even with all the tech and market trends, real estate, it's still about people.
Absolutely, at its core. And speaking of that human element, did you see that Washington Post article, the one about the growing demand for those sustainable and energy-efficient homes?
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. Seems like buyers are really starting to think about their environmental impact, even willing to pay more for homes that match their values.
Yeah, and it makes sense with all the talk about climate change and those rising energy costs.
Yeah.
This could be a big opportunity for agents who want to specialize in green real estate, become the experts in sustainable living.
Right. Educate clients about energy-efficient features, sustainable materials, eco-friendly landscaping.
Exactly. It's a way to stand out, attract those buyers who are passionate about, environmental responsibility.
It's like another level of value you can offer, helping clients make smart choices that are good for their wallet and the planet.
Totally. And it goes back to that idea of staying ahead of the curve. The agents who are proactive, who embrace those new trends, they're the ones who'll succeed in the long run.
So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. Online listings, the MLS, legal battles, team dynamics, sustainable homes. Phew.
It's been a whirlwind, that's for sure. But I think the big takeaway is that real estate, it never sits still, always changing.
And the agents who'll thrive, those are the ones who can adapt, who stay informed, and who are always focused on providing the best service to their clients.
It's about always learning, staying curious, and never forgetting that human connection that makes this profession so rewarding.
Well said. So as we navigate all these changes, let's remember to support each other, celebrate the wins, and keep learning and growing.
Cheers to a successful year ahead.
Hey there, thanks for tuning into The Wire. If you're enjoying the show and want to help us keep bringing you the latest in real estate, visit us at thewire.fm and click the Support the Wire button in the main navigation. Your support makes all the difference. Thank you. The Wire has been brought to you by Resora. Elevate your real estate marketing with Resora. Effortlessly design, manage, and automate stunning email and social campaigns with our intuitive platform built for real estate. Say goodbye to complex marketing. Get started with your free account today at resora.com. And by Notebook LM by Google. Unlock the power of your information with Notebook LM. Upload your documents and instantly access an expert AI that answers your questions, summarizes key points, and generates insights, all based on your specific sources. Become a knowledge master with Notebook LM. Try it now at notebooklm.google.